2025 is witnessing a fishing race unlike anything the world has ever seen. It is a journey where humans plunge into the ocean using power, technology, and methods that would stun even the most seasoned fishermen. Amidst freezing winds and crashing waves, massive steel ships chase what lies beneath the dark water. Here, every decision and every pull of the net can bring a fortune or a disaster. Billions of creatures are harvested in just a few hours using techniques you will find hard to believe. Are you ready? The race starts right now. Have you ever thought about diving into the deep sea to catch sharks? In the vast ocean, where waves hit the hull like nature is swinging a sledgehammer, there is one creature that fishermen everywhere respect: the shark. A survivor of 400 million years of evolution, it possesses a fighting instinct unmatched by any other marine life. The places people hunt sharks are not calm waters. In Australia, long-line vessels pull dozens of miles of fishing lines around the Queensland coast. In New Zealand, they enter the pitch-black deep waters of the Chatham Rise. In the United States, fishermen in Florida and Louisiana risk their lives against makos and bull sharks, creatures that can snap a steel rod with a single flick of their tail. But the reason humans take these risks is simple: money. A shark fisherman in the United States can earn $4,000 to $8,000 a month, while in Australia and New Zealand, peak season income can reach $10,000. For many coastal families, it is a life-changing opportunity, even if they have to put their lives in front of razor-sharp teeth. The process begins with bait: fresh mackerel or bloody frozen meat, which can trigger a shark's sense of smell from a mile away. As the scent spreads, the water begins to change color. A large shadow appears at the bottom of the sea, circles a few times, and suddenly lunges to bite. The cables pull so tight, they look ready to snap. The hull vibrates violently, and the battle officially begins. An adult shark weighing 400 to 600 pounds can create a pull of 600 to 800 pounds of force, enough to drag a strong man into the water in seconds. That is why the crew must lock the lines, tighten the posts, and coordinate every move perfectly. No one is allowed to make a mistake. Every shout on deck is the voice of experience and survival. Once the shark is pulled close to the deck, the second battle begins. Holding it long enough to bring it aboard without letting its teeth tear everything apart. They use large metal hooks, cables, and sometimes anesthetic devices to knock the animal unconscious before processing. Once on deck, cold water is pumped into the gills, or ice is packed into the stomach to keep it fresh. Every minute of delay means lost money. This is why this fish is hunted so desperately. Almost every part of the shark has economic value. The saum kumals, meat becomes food. The skin is turned into high-end leather. The liver provides squalene oil for the pharmaceutical industry. And the fins are the ingredient for the most expensive soup in Asia. But the price to pay is the entire ocean. In the last 50 years, global shark populations have dropped by 70% in many regions. Without sharks, the entire food chain loses balance. Mid-sized fish explode in numbers, small fish disappear, algae blooms, and coral reefs die. The ocean begins to suffocate because of human exploitation. Today, many countries have banned or restricted shark fishing, but economic demand, especially from the Asian market, still pushes thousands of ships out to sea every year. The battle between man and shark is no longer just about resources. It has become an ethical question. Are we taking something from the ocean that can never be replaced? Would you risk your life to go shark fishing? Comment yes or no. Are you still watching? Let us get ready to head into the Alaskan waters. When the salmon season returns, the steel ships of Alaska leave the harbor in a freezing mist, heading into the Bering Sea. This sea is famous for being brutal, with waves like walls and wind that can cut skin. On deck, the crew prepares for a race where nature is the strongest opponent. GPS, fish-finding radar, and satellite communication are all running at full power, but the final decision still rests on the experience and instinct of the fishermen. The hunt starts the moment sonar detects a school of salmon moving toward river mouths to spawn. In just minutes, giant purse seine nets are dropped into the sea. This is the most stressful moment. If they are a few seconds late, the school will slip away. If they fumble, tangled nets or jammed winches can turn the deck into a disaster zone. As the net is pulled to the side of the ship, pressure spikes. Water sprays everywhere. The deck vibrates as tons of bright red salmon are pumped or scooped directly onto the ship. In the dim polar light, the deck becomes a living silver carpet of thousands of struggling fish. A successful haul can be worth tens of thousands of dollars, but a single mistake, like a sudden wave or a torn net, can make the entire trip a waste. What makes Alaskan salmon the gold standard of the global market is immediate preservation. Every fish, as soon as it leaves the water, goes straight into a cold hold or a massive ice water tank to drop its temperature in minutes. If they are slow, the meat loses its firmness and value drops. On the ship, fishermen sort the catch continuously under gale force winds, on slippery decks, with ice water that feels like it is biting into their hands. When the ship docks, the salmon is moved immediately to a processing plant where automated technology meets human skill. Industrial blades cut off heads and remove innards in a heartbeat. Filleting machines split the body, removing the spine, ribs, and skin with near-perfect precision. But the smallest details, like tiny bones only a few millimeters long, still require the steady hands of professional workers. They use steel tweezers to pluck out every small bone and trim the fat so the fillet reaches sashimi grade standards. Once perfect, the fish is deep chilled to below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, vacuum packed, or placed in dry ice boxes. From here, they begin their journey to sushi restaurants in Tokyo, supermarkets in Europe, or high-end seafood counters in America. Consumers can enjoy a flavor almost identical to the moment the fish was pulled from the sea. The Alaskan salmon industry is not just a harvest, it is a life and death commitment between humans and the ocean. Take only enough, preserve properly, and ensure that salmon schools will return to the same rivers for decades to come. In those ruby red slices on your dinner table, there is always the salt of the sea, the chill of the Alaskan wind, and the traces of the people who gambled their lives to bring them home. How do you like your salmon cooked? In the middle of the North Atlantic, where the water is bone-chilling cold, a steel ship is vibrating. There is no warning. There is no time to prepare. The moment the sonar beeps, showing a faint light on the screen, everyone on deck knows a school of red shrimp is right below them.
Deploy the net!
The captain's voice rings out through the whistling wind, The crew rushes into position. Hydraulic winches roar, pulling a giant trawl net weighing tons across the deck before it vanishes into the black water. 2 steel otter boards, each as heavy as a motorcycle, are dropped to keep the mouth of the net wide open like 2 metal doors sweeping the ocean floor. At depths of 650 to 1,300 feet, where light cannot reach, the net sweeps through soft mud where northern red shrimp hide. This is not a lucky shot. This is a battle of nerves between man and sea, where a small error can ruin the entire trip. 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours pass. The ship still rocks violently in the heavy swells, but all eyes are glued to the winch. Then the signal light flashes. The net is full. The winch speeds up, and the sound of clashing metal beats like a drum. Every yard of net pulled from the water is so heavy the ship tilts a few degrees. When the final cod end appears, bulging like a giant steel ball, the deck falls into a breathless silence. Get ready to open. The bag is released, and the deck explodes with color. Tons of bright pink-red shrimp pour into the receiving hopper, creating a waterfall of color like molten metal. The shrimp jump around in the silver-gray light of the north. Only seconds later, they enter the processing line. It is a moment that gives even veteran sailors goosebumps. Can you imagine it? No one has time to enjoy the view. Time is the #1 enemy of red shrimp. A few minutes of delay, and the quality drops. The shrimp are washed, sorted by size, and immediately sent into a flash freezing chamber at -40 degrees Fahrenheit. This technology locks in the freshness, the natural red color, and the firm texture. Minutes ago, they were at the bottom of the sea. Now, they are in cold storage, ready for Japan, Spain, or France. In these markets, a 1% drop in freshness can cut the value in half. The whole process, from the net leaving the water to the shrimp entering the freezer, happens so fast you can barely catch your breath. That is why fishermen call northern red shrimp the cold gold of the ocean. It is not just about their color. It is about how they force humans to fight every second to keep their perfect value. But leaving the cold, deep waters of the red shrimp, the story of fishing takes us to a completely different battlefield, where silver sardines move near the surface like living waves. In the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the North Atlantic and Pacific, sardines move in massive silver sheets. That is when the real chase begins. Catching sardines is not just about dropping a net and waiting. It is an offshore campaign where 2 large ships must coordinate with military precision. In the bridge, the captain watches both radar and sonar. As soon as the silver cloud appears on the screen, the second ship is called in. The 2 ships take opposite ends of a massive purse seine net that is hundreds of feet long. As they drop the net, they move in parallel, creating a wide arc to surround the school. A small mistake could let the fish escape, so every move is based on generations of experience. When the net closes, the drawstring at the bottom is pulled tight, turning the net into a giant bag. The sardines are now trapped in a swirling black mass under the water. This is the most intense time. The ships must maintain a perfect distance so the wind and waves do not push the net into the propellers. Once the school is surrounded, a massive power block or a giant dip net controlled by a hydraulic crane is lowered. Every scoop brings a mass of silver fish boiling to the surface, which then crashes onto the deck like a shimmering waterfall. The fish slide across the steel floor, tails clicking, and the fishermen must constantly push them into the right holds to prevent loss. A big catch can weigh 20 to 50 tons, representing the worth of an entire night of hunting. Sardines spoil faster than almost any other fish. Just a few hours at the wrong temperature, and the quality is ruined. Therefore, the fish are poured directly into tanks of seawater mixed with ice, kept at 32 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. This keeps the scales on, the meat firm, and the flavor as fresh as when they were swimming in the ocean. As soon as the ship hits the dock, the sardines are moved to the factory in refrigerated trucks. The process has zero room for error. The fish are washed with high-pressure cold water and then sorted by size. Those destined for cans have their heads and innards removed in seconds by automated blades. Even though machines do most of the work, the step of placing fish into cans is still done by hand to ensure they are neat and the meat does not break. Then the cans are filled with olive oil, tomato sauce, or brine before being vacuum sealed. Finally, the cans go into an autoclave at 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This kills bacteria, softens the bones, and extends the shelf life to several years. Once cooled, dried, and inspected, these tiny cans of sardines are ready for supermarkets worldwide. They still hold the freshness, the rich taste, and the silver color of the sea. But what happens when the target is not tiny sardines, but giant yellowfin tuna? In the warm waters around Indonesia, the hunt for yellowfin tuna has remained largely unchanged for decades. Local fishermen stay true to traditional but incredibly effective techniques. Before the sun even rises, they toss baskets of fresh anchovies into the water to lure the tuna. The scent of fish oil spreads with the current, drawing hungry yellowfin schools close to the side of the boat. The moment the water starts boiling with feeding fish, the captain gives the signal. Over 20 fishermen rush to the bow, each holding a fishing rod specifically designed for the pole and line method. They drop the hooks, and within seconds, they get a bite. Fish weighing dozens of pounds are flicked over the deck continuously, creating a rhythmic thudding sound like war drums. It happens so fast, you feel like the ship is in a battle with a wild giant school beneath your feet. But further away, on steel ships worth millions of dollars, the tuna hunt looks completely different. It is modern, regulated, and organized like a military operation. The mothership uses radar, sonar, and GPS to track every underwater movement. Above, a helicopter circles constantly to provide a bird's-eye view, telling the captain if the school is scattering or grouping. When the time is right, a small skiff rushes out, pulling a massive purse seine net that is over a mile long and 650 feet deep. High-speed boats circle around, making loud noises to drive the fish into the center and stop them from escaping. In minutes, hundreds of tons of tuna are trapped like a living cloud in the blue water. As the net is tightened, the bottom bag is lowered. It is a giant funnel used to scoop the fish onto the ship, sometimes 50 to 70 tons at a time. The fish are dumped onto the deck and slide immediately into an automated conveyor system to prevent bruising the meat. Instead of the cheering found on traditional boats, here you only hear the steady sound of machinery. Steel chains, winches, and fish sliding through metal chutes like a heavy, salty waterfall. From that second, the countdown begins. Staying fresh is the priority. On small boats, Fish are layered with ice to stay near 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But on large industrial ships, they go straight into ultra-low temperature freezers running at -40 to -76 degrees Fahrenheit. This deep freeze keeps the meat that signature deep red color, maintains the firm texture, and ensures export quality for the United States, Japan, or Europe. When the ship docks, mountains of tuna are unloaded by conveyors or net cranes and sent straight to fish markets, sashimi processing plants, or major supermarkets. From there, they become dark red sashimi slices, convenient canned tuna, or lean steaks grilled in kitchens half a world away. Every tuna that reaches a consumer is the result of a process combining ancient experience and oceanic technology. It is a hunt full of speed, risk, and skill that only those who live their lives at sea can achieve. Which catch impressed you the most? Comment below and see how many people agree with you. If you want us to take you to even more dramatic hunts, let us know. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss any spectacular journeys on the ocean.